they'll come in here. I want to bring you all back over to have a seat because we're going to continue on with the next speaker, and we have got a little information for you about the next meeting we're going to be having down in what area?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. So Lloyd Siegel?
Yes.
He's going to give you a good rundown. Yeah, he's going to give you a rundown of what's going on here.
Everybody have this flyer. We're really excited to talk about what's turning quickly to become the largest real estate investor event in all of California. On Saturday, September 28th, we're having our annual Real Estate Investors Grand Expo. This is an entire day devoted to just real estate investing. We've got 13 speakers coming from throughout the United States. We're taking over the entire Olympic collection. We have 3 meeting rooms and an exhibition hall the size of a basketball court. The exhibition hall, we have 43 vendors, monster events. And in the 3 meeting rooms, we're going to have breakout sessions in 3 separate rooms at the Olympic collection with MCs, one of which is Tina right back there. One of them. Yes. Give her a round of applause. She's going to be there.
Wait. You know what? I have to say something, you guys, because Lloyd, speaking for himself, is just not doing it justice. This guy does some incredible events once a month on Thursdays. How many of you guys live in the LA County? Raise your hand. If you live in the LA County, okay, just one.
That's it.
You guys listen, it's totally worth the drive. I'm telling you, it's totally worth the drive. I just came back from Greece, actually 2 days ago. But because of what's happening at the Olympic Connection and here at the Santa Barbara REI, it's just totally worth it. Do not take it lightly. The people that are in front of us, I'm telling you, the nuggets that they're giving you, they can easily charge $5,000 for, but they give free. And I just want to give all of them a round of applause. Are you guys with me?
Thank you, Tina. How much was that? So the good news and the best news of all about this is it's free. How much is it?
Ooh, that's really good.
Free. And how much is parking? Free. Parking is free, which is a big thing in LA.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to do a couple special things. First of all, there's going to be private consultations with the speakers. So if you come early, you can sign up to spend the half-hour allotments with the individual speakers during the day, which is, we think, pretty special. And because we don't want this to be a pitch fest, we've made each speaker sign a contract that says that 90% of what they're going to speak about is going to be content, and only the last 10%, the last couple minutes of whatever they're doing is going to be if they have something else they want to sell, some program. We don't want to begrudge them that. So it's an exciting day. I would invite you all to come down. You can sleep over at my house.
You guys enjoy the wine?
Tina's bringing the wine.
We're going to have a blast.
So the website, do me a favor, RSVP, lagrandexpo.com. We do this every year. It's a monster. It's going to be big. I don't know where I heard that before. So come on by. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
How many people are you guessing will show up?
Probably 500 people.
Yep.
Wow.
By the way, we already have RSVPs for over 1,000, over 1,100 people have already RSVP'd. So monster event, but there's going to be all these different rooms to go to, so it's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
It's sort of like really 411 on steroids.
Yeah, if you want to network, that would be the place to go. You want to meet some people, you want to find services, give services, that would be the event to go to.
lagrandexpo.com.
Okay, thank you, Lloyd. Excellent. So we have Musette Profant. Yay! She is local, she is wonderful, and she's actually a degreed architect? Is it an art? Not. Tell me. I know you.
I have a degree from USC in architecture.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, I
Yeah.
knew she could say it better than me.
And I have an honest contractor in Scott.
Fine.
This is, I searched for him for decades. Anyway, hi, my name is Musette. My company is Sterling Sites. We do residential design and construction. We can also work on office complexes and apartment buildings, depending upon what you're looking at. I understand that some of you are just beginning to start your investment future. And some of you are seasoned investors. I would like to give you something to think about content-wise, but I'm going to hold that off until the end because I have a question for you that's from my very heart. Okay? So let me tell you a little bit about how I can help you with your investments. If you are just starting, I would appreciate it if you would try to embrace the truth. Okay? This is a wonderful field, but there are pitfalls. And please go in with your eyes wide open. Take all the advice that you can get. Try not to take it personally. And if you are looking for some work to be done on your property, get multiple bids, right? And I created a checklist for one of my potential clients. She was going to convert a garage into an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit. And some of you know what that means. That's an extra rental property that you can now have on your property. So she wanted to do a garage conversion and a remodel of the house, so I suggested doing the ADU first, move her and her husband into that, and then we could remodel the house without interrupting their flow or making them move out. So what I came up with was the possible cost to do a garage conversion and a home remodel is 3 pages long. Okay, I have a few of these that I printed out. This is brass tacks, what you might be up against, barring nuclear war or a dead body in the attic. This is what you need to understand might come up. And as you interview your 3 contractors, please make sure that each one of them has addressed what's on the list, or not. Just make sure that you're comparing apples to apples on the quote. Now, I had a call 3 days ago from my contractor. We had done a bid on a house for a bathroom remodel and a separated ADU, a little guest house on the property. I refused to do the guest house because there's a massive wall behind it that was not built to survive the thumping and disturbance of the dirt. And so I won't build the ADU, but we could remodel the bathroom, not a problem. So we gave him a bid, and then he gave me his email, and it was his daughter's email, and this happened, and that happened, and he hired somebody else. So we got a call 3 days ago, and he said, "Hey, what you doing?" I said, "You tell me, what's going on?" He had hired a contractor who showed him a license. I don't know what he was licensed to do, but in a bathroom, if you put drywall around the shower, you are going to end up with some problems. Down the road, maybe immediately. But you're definitely going to incur some problems. So the fellow called him up after he put drywall all over, God knows what kind of plumbing, and said, "I don't know how to do tile. You're going to have to find somebody else." So we went in and looked at the bathroom and saw the drywall around the shower. It is now going to cost him $4,500 to rip out what the other guy put in and get it done right. Okay? You might want to check what kind of license they have, whether they know how to do everything that you expect them to do, and, you know, kind of like supervise and or get somebody you might trust. Anyway, so we're doing a bathroom remodel. And unfortunately, it's costing the guy extra. So these are important things for you to keep track of. One of the things that we can do for you if you are considering buying a property is do a consultation on the property. Now, I can take my contractor in. He is brutally honest, but very likable. And he will tell you brass tacks how much it's going to cost. And it's a scary number usually. We had a guy say, oh, that's gonna be 40,000. And I looked at it and I said, that's gonna be 200,000. And it was 200,000. Now, if you're an investor and you're buying a piece of property and somebody tells you it's gonna be 40,000 to fix the wall, and it ends up being 200, where are you gonna get that cash? If you're not prepared for that, so make sure that there's a diagnosis of the property by somebody who's not just trying to get the job. We have been up in the Bay Area fixing 15 houses that were messed up. First thing was they hired a cheap architect who didn't know what was going on, and it goes on from there. There were drunken subs on the property. There was mess up with all sorts of plumbing, electrical, everything had to be fixed, okay? This is huge amounts of money we're talking about. They should have I want you all to start from a place of knowledge and awareness, okay? It can be a blast to see a house or an apartment building turn into the most beautiful thing on the block. But make sure that the foundation is strong and that what you're getting into is going to be cost effective for you, okay? If not, please walk away. Because in the end, I want you all to be sleeping soundly at night. You're happy, you're joyous, you're secure, because that's what life's all about. We've got a little time on the planet. Let's not freak out, okay? So, now, we can help you with the buying because we can go in and look at the property and tell you how much it's gonna cost to fix it up. And then you can use us or not. Up to you, okay? And that's just a consultation. We can do a fix and flip, if that's what you're interested in. Fix and hold is gonna be a little bit more, and I'll tell you why in a second. If you're selling your properties, I can do a quick home facelift on your property to make it look better. I can mitigate all the repairs so that by the time it gets onto the MLS, you don't have those repairs that are public information. Those will all be taken care of before the inspector comes. So, I can help with that, but this is, somebody asked me these two questions. This, I increased the value of the house $150,000 in 3 weeks. That was a quick house facelift, okay? That was us working 14-hour days, 7 days a week for 3 weeks. But we got the client a nice chunk of change, okay? This one, I just looked at the floor plans for the house, and I talked to the owners, rearranged the floor plan before it was built, and added $100,000 in value to that house. That was up on the Mesa. I want to tell you something. Oh well, anyway, it'll come to me. This is a cautionary tale. I was a property manager 20 years ago, and I had a property management company on top of me, and then of course there were the owners. I got calls, why isn't this property, why aren't we full? Why are we not at capacity? Because it was a great location. I said, because the roof is leaking. Oh, next month. Why are we not renting these properties out? Why aren't these apartments renting? Because the roof is leaking. Next month. Why are we now down 7 out of 40 apartments? We've got 7 vacant apartments because the roof is leaking. Come on over and see it sometime. So the guy who was in charge of all the other, property owners pulls up in his fancy sports car, very stressed out. I had 7 of these in the upstairs apartments. I had rain, I had drywall, I had asbestos, popcorn, and it was one of those places with the electrical in the ceiling. I had electrical cords draped into this. And I said, because the roof is leaking. Okay. It took that long. How much money did they lose? Oh my God, how much money? They did not pay attention. They wanted to patch things. So, I want to ask you something. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to tell you about what we can do for homeowners. We've got a homeowner right here. She asked me about a house in Michigan a few minutes ago. Well, a couple hours now. She wanted to know why it wasn't selling. I am going to tell her when we get together after this. So I can do a remote consultation for you if you're not in this area. If you're in this area, I got to tell the story about the pool again, the other pool. My apologies. Had a young man who was fresh. He was going to be a flipper. He said, I want you to see this property. Okay, fine. So he said, well, I want to change the wallpaper and freshen up the cabinetry. Okay. But something was wonky with the house, and we couldn't figure it out. And there were cracks in the ceilings that didn't correspond to the structure of the house. And we went outside, and there was cracks odd places. It turned out that the slab for the patio had been poured at the same time the slab had been poured for the house. There was a swimming pool. There was a hillside. The swimming pool was sliding down the hillside and pulling the patio slab and the house slab along with it. Okay. The wallpaper was not the main problem. Okay. So I told this poor fella, said, okay, it's gonna be about $350,000 to cut the house away from the slab, pour the footings around the house by itself, so it's separate from that. Then we're gonna have to deal with the pool that's cracking and tilting and everything else. So I said, you're looking at $350 minimum, plus the engineering fees, because now you're talking about an engineer coming in.
And soil?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, it was amazing. This was up on, near Northridge, on Foothill.
Oh,
On Foothill.
of course. Foothill is a moneymaker for soil engineers.
So, anyway, and then plus 150 in upgrades on top of that. So, anyway, that same day that we went to look at the property, they accepted an offer, so I was like, okay, this kid is not gonna try and buy this and fix it, because that's not a good first property. So then we went to the Mesa, And we looked at our house and we shot the points because he wanted to put a second story on this house. He's a young kid, gonna go get them all. And I admire that, I really do. But we shot the points. Yes, you can go up a second story and you will not block the view of the old guy who's across the street on top of you. And we were able to give him a ballpark and rearrange the footing. And I can do 3D illustrations of non-existent or half-existent properties and show you what they can look like with some renovations. And so we were able to do that for him. And he ended up not buying that property either. So I suggested maybe he got finished with college and try someplace other than Santa Barbara, for starters. Okay. And he did, and he will. He's going to go home, and then he's going to call me. He's in Thousand Oaks. I said, I'm happy to come down and take a look at anything you want to flip down there. So, anyway, the one thing I wanted to tell you about this was that you can choose today what kind of an investor, what kind of a landlord you're going to be. Even if you're already an investor, you can choose today to invest in your properties so that they're not trouble down the road. Okay? I do not want you staying up at night worrying about the plumbing in your apartment building. I do not want you worried about your tenants suing or flaking. I want your property to be the best looking one on the block. I want you to have a property that lifts the property values of the other places around you. I want your community happy to have you in their space, contributing to the uplifting of our communities. I want you to be able to have a wonderful life, making a profit, taking care of people, and making money at the same time, you know? Because when you uplift your property, your tenants will be uplifted as well. They will begin to take care of your properties. They will begin to take care of each other. You will have a waiting list of people that want to live in your property because it's beautiful. And I hear the landlord's just amazing. He's just so wonderful. He's so responsive. And it's well built. And I can help you reach that point if you give me a chance. So consider not just rehabbing, but uplifting your life.
Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So there we have local help. And a good contractor.
Yes, an honest one.
An honest one.
And a good one too, yeah.